Namaste everyone and welcome once again to Wisely Well Wednesday. So we are still in the immunity circle because we are still playing hide and seek with the virus. You see, we developed vaccines and the virus has mutated. So many countries are having a new wave of virus. But then that is how viruses are, be it common cold or corona. They mutate. With every new host that they reach out, they take material from the host and mutate. Kind of maybe they are a little wiser than us. And that's how they have survived through generations. But we are learning how to cope with the virus. And what is really going to protect us, as we all know, is the herd immunity or your own personal immunity. I had given an overview of immunity in my first Facebook Live for this year. Today, I'm going to dwell a little deeper. You see, I'm determined that I will try and help as many people as I can to upgrade their immunity such that when the borders open, they would be able to manage most of the viruses that they would encounter if they do things right. So then, in homeopathy, how do we develop or manage an immunity? In it, we have something which we call as the core medicine, the personality medicine, the immunity building medicine, or the constitutional medicine. And I'm sure everyone out there wants to know, hey Dr. Priya, please tell us which is this medicine? Well, it is not a medicine. When the pandemic started, everybody was talking about 2-3 medicines which were going to help get rid of this virus. There was arsenic alb and there were various others. So much so that even Lazada started selling arsenic alb. Well, what happened to arsenic alb and corona? People who are interested in doing their own history studies of the flow of the virus in India can do it at their own leisure. But I have a video, maybe in the next few days, I will post it as to why I thought that that was not the solution to the problem. But again, it is open to interpretation. So now let us look at what is this constitutional medicine. Constitutional medicine or the immunity building medicine is a unique personality medicine for each unique person. It is different. Even if you are a mother and child, your remedy, constitutional remedy, will be way different than your child's. In fact, in children, we don't even say it is constitutional remedy. We say it is a deep acting remedy. Because children are evolving, their personalities are evolving, and hence their personality medicine cannot be crystallized. But yes, each individual has its own unique constitutional medicine, which is like the project manager of their whole human system. Because remember, when I say I am Dr. Priya, I may think I'm one individual, but I'm zillions of cells working together in a harmonious synchrony. We are working, we say we are in it together. Well, in this body of mine, there are zillions of cells which are in it together to use their functioning to make a better human being of me. Same too with you. So it's not one cell, it's zillions of cells. So this constitutional medicine then becomes like a project manager which manages this entire human system and helps it keep upgraded to face various challenges that might be thrown to it as the human progresses in his life. Right? Now, how does a homeopath arrive at this constitutional medicine? That's the reason we take this long history, which in children begins in the intrauterine life of the mother, of the baby, which is the pregnancy of the mother. So mothers who are pregnant, beware. Whatever you think, whatever you eat, the way you exercise, the way you rest, all contributes to laying a healthy foundation for a healthy human being. So if you want a healthy baby, maintain health during pregnancy. And then from the time the baby comes out of you, then too there is a whole lot of interdependence between the mother and the child. In fact, a baby who's suckling on the mother is a unit with the mother. So as a homeopath, we have to start the history taking from the intrauterine life of the baby onwards till the baby comes to us. So when sometimes a 2-year-old baby's mother calls my clinic and says, "Hey, Dr. Priya, my child just has a cold. Can I come and see you?" And my staff says, "Ma'am, you need 45 minutes. People say, "Oh, but it's just a 2-year-old child." Yes, it is 2 plus 9. 9 months of pregnancy, and we do need to know what was the mother thinking, what was the stresses she was undergoing physically, physiologically, mentally, environmentally. So many things contribute to how the baby is born and what is the foundation of the baby. Then imagine if it is an 18-year-old, how much history taking do we have to do? 20, 30, 40, and then 60s and 70s. So as a homeopath, sometimes I feel I'm almost like an archaeologist digging deep into the history, because there somewhere is the knot. There somewhere in homeopathy we call the matching in the rogues gallery. So we get a patient picture and then we have to match it with the symptom or the remedy picture. If the two pictures match perfectly, bingo, things fall in place because you have found the right project manager. It's like when you employ your staff. If you have found the right fit for the right job, everything else is a breeze. Otherwise, it's a bumpy way. We know better. During lockdown, we had once a staff who took us on a bumpy ride. Never mind, we learned. So thank you to that person as well. Coming back again. Now, can this project manager manage the system alone? People think, okay, you give me the constitutional remedy, I'll get better. How often is the medicine to be repeated? In what potency, that is what strength do we use it? All depends on the various challenges that particular human being faces. And then when the project manager begins the work, he cannot begin without the resources. So what are the resources that help build immunity? I've already said it before, the 4 pillars. Good thinking, good eating. I would rather use the word healthy thinking, healthy eating, healthy exercise, and healthy rest. These are the resources which help the constitutional medicine or the immunity building medicine, or as I said, the project manager run his project well. And occasionally when acute things happen here and there are these little managers who come to take action, which we call as the acute medicine. So let's say last weekend, not the weekend which just went by, the weekend before that, there were torrential rains in Singapore and every child I knew was sniffling and sneezing. Well, lots of sneezing, Allium cepa would come to the rescue. Or some had bunked up noses, completely blocked noses. Sabadilla would come to the rescue. Or it is that heavy sinus headache. Sanguinaria would come into rescue. So there are different managers who would then come into play to deal with that little project. And sometimes, as soon as it starts, if you give the medicine, you can actually abort the entire attack. But then again, is it an allergy attack or is it an infection? Simple way to know, if you have fever, 99% it is infection. If you don't have fever for the same symptoms, it could be an allergy. But mind you, sometimes fever comes in much later. And just because fever comes, hold on, don't give Panadol. Fever is a response of the body to combat infection. By taking an antipyretic, something that brings down the fever suddenly, you're not really helping the child or even yourself. Yes, wherever there is a history of convulsions, do be aware and do bring down the fever as soon as possible. But most of us adults can bear fever, so don't be in a hurry to pop in Panadols at the drop of the hat. Because for the project manager to work or for the constitutional remedy to work, you also need to have a clean system. What do you mean by a clean system? A clean system is a system which is not bogged down by unnecessary chemicals. You see, in nature, there is a synergy. If there are bacteria, good or bad, Viruses don't generally enter the system. That's the logic of nature. If there is a virus, generally bacteria do not come. Fungus also do not come close by. Sometimes they come together, but mostly that's the general rule. Now, when antibiotics are not needed and we pop in antibiotics, even when there is a virus, what happens? That antibiotic is an antibiotic, antibacterial. So it goes and destroys all the bacteria. So the good bacteria in your gut are destroyed. What happens when that is done? Well, you don't absorb most of the nutrition. So you might be eating healthy, but nothing is being absorbed. Not just antibiotics, any random chemicals that you pop into your mouth, whether they be preserved or processed foods, interfere with your gut health. I'll do a separate topic on gut health. But remember, you need a good gut flora. Again, we have done a very good video on this called Mud is Good. Do watch it. Maybe I'll post it some other time. But I'm really going to do on how to take care of the gut, because that's where the absorption happens. And not only that, the good bacteria also help you fight viruses that might enter your system. Then again, as I discussed last time, just because I'm sneezing, until and unless it's really gone overboard and you are not used to homeopathy, don't go and pop in an antihistamine. There's a reason why your body is making you sneeze. So clean system responds very fast to the work of a constitutional remedy. Now you would say, hey Dr. Priya, you had said delving deep into homeopathy and herbs. Where do the herbs come into the play? Well, even before the remedy comes, herbs come into play. Because herbs are nature's offering to you to combat any challenge that might come your way. It's a natural way. Those of you who have a dog know that when a dog has an upset stomach, a dog goes and eats grass, the right kind of grass. It eats what is known as durva, the favorite of Ganesha. How does the dog know? Well, that's how nature has programmed it. Nature has programmed us as well, but we have forgotten. Dog hasn't. So he goes and eats that grass to get over his stomachache. You don't need to drag him to the vet. He knows. Just take him to the meadows. He will find the grass he needs. Now then, what about you? Where do you find your herbs? Well, if you're an Indian, you're lucky. Just get into your kitchen. That spice box, that's a whole buzzing pharmacy out there. Not just that the spice box gives you good food, tasty food, the great Indian food. No, it's teeming with solution to all problems that might come due to change of weather or various other things. There was a funny video which my children had shown me. What would Asian mothers do if a child gets sick, whereas some other mother, in which the Asian mother, before she takes the child to the doctor, would brew up something and come. Well, those brews help children or even adults, family members, combat most illnesses. So when there were torrential rains, we had the black pepper. And those of you who come from the south of India, your pepper rasam. We have our cumin seeds. We have cinnamon. We have clove. And yes, in Singapore, as yet, unlike Australia, we have ginger, which is quite cheap and we can buy it. 5 ingredients. Brew it into a nice herbal tea. Have it warm. With maybe jaggery, I say that because I'm a vegan, or honey if you're not a vegan. Remember, don't put honey in boiling water. Let it cool down. You have already given the body the ammunition to fight the nasty cold that is coming on its way because of the weather. So you do prevention even better than cure. Or the turmeric latte, which now is sold in Starbucks. Well, that's grandma's remedy, isn't it? The milk, if you're a vegan, doesn't have to be cow's milk. You can take your almond milk, put a little bit of honey if you're a non-vegan, or jaggery or brown sugar or raw sugar if you're a vegan, and turmeric. The key here is turmeric. Or mix turmeric with black pepper, little bit of coconut oil, and have a little bit of it. Isn't it simple? Or when summers come, which they will soon come, and the heat starts rising, well, how do you cool yourself? It's simple. Just put sas plum in water and brew it. For those from India, it's called kokum. And put sabja seeds. No need to buy chia seeds. The great coolant, your system will cool. But we take herbs, copy paste. So when the epidemic started, everybody started having turmeric, ginger, black pepper in such amounts that I have had patients who have got acid reflux because of it. You have to be in tune with nature. Like my mother used to say, when you eat your food, you eat the vegetable as a vegetable. You can't replace pickle as a vegetable. Pickle has to be little. Herbs have to be taken in tiny amount. More is not always good. And also you have to be receptive to the weather. Both turmeric, ginger, black pepper, clove increase the heat. In TCM, the heaty and the cooling foods. When the weather cycle changes from hot to cold, where in Singapore it changes every other day, we have to be in tune with the weather cycle. We cannot go on taking heaty foods when the weather becomes hot, or cooling foods when the weather becomes cold. We have to change our format. Then we can stay healthy. But people just go on doing, taking it because there's fear, there is anxiety. So I have this old uncle who's my patient. He calls it the Indian curry concoction. So every morning during lockdown, he would get up, grind ginger, a lot of turmeric, a lot of black pepper, add coconut oil and drink it as a curry concoction. Well, uncle basically is a very healthy man, so he stayed healthy. But imagine if this concoction is taken into summers, well, your acid reflux is going to grow. So have that balance, when to take what and when to stop. So the herbal teas come before even remedies. So before the project manager is put into action, and the project manager doesn't begin work when the calamity strikes. No. That's the beauty of homeopathy. We believe truly in prevention. So the constitutional medicine is given when the body is symptom free. So when people ask me, why must I come and see you if I'm doing well now? I'm not having a cold. Well, that's the time we are going to build your system. That's the time where the constitutional medicine is going to upgrade your system. Kind of like the army trains during peace time so that it is combat ready when the need for combat happens. Don't worry. My cough is just because my saliva went into my windpipe. Happens when you tend to talk fast. I'm not having an infection. How can I differentiate? Well, because I am a medical person. How can you differentiate? Well, when you talk fast, you can actually feel it. Be in tune with yourself. And in confusion, reach out to your medical person. But coming back to the subject. So then, as I was saying, that preparation for keeping your body ready for any combat happens when you're symptom free. That's where your homeopath works on your immunity. That's where the constitutional remedy really works on upgrading your system. And therefore, now does that mean if I take constitutional medicine and there is a strong virus, I'm not going to get infected? Of course I would. But my acute medicines will work in a dose or two. Those of you who have been on homeopathic medicines for a long time know that if you have a cold and you've only been on homeopathic medicine, have a clean system, you take one dose of Allium cepa and the cold goes away. Now, is that a miracle cure? Is that a faith cure? No. It is just because your body is so fine-tuned that one dose. And those people who have taken antihistamines for a long, long time, well, that magic will happen, but then you have to be patient. You can't come to a homeopath and say, I'm going to give my antihistamines today. Tomorrow you get me that magic cure. I often say I am not a magician. Then again, let us move further. So I'll give you a case study. Last week, last week, when the torrential rains were happening, my son had a crazy running nose. Now, just because I'm a doctor and I see him, does it mean I started giving him alien Zipa? That's what most patients feel. Oh, they are your kids. You can give them medicine anytime. Honest truth is, I don't even have medicines at home. So what did I do? As I said, I brewed a tea from lemongrass, ginger, black pepper, clove and cinnamon. And first I gave him that. Like a typical teenager, he wriggled his nose and said, "Mom, why must I have it?" "No choice, sweetheart, please have it." He had that. Then I gave him a high dose of vitamin C, 1000 mcg. Normally I don't pump vitamins into my children. They are given infrequently, vitamins. I gave him a healthy juice. Then first thing I did is I went and opened his doors and windows and let fresh air come in. Somehow teenagers like to close everything and make a little den in which they like to sit. I opened his den and let fresh air come in. He protested and I had to listen to a lot of protests, but I still opened it. I switched off the aircon and I even cleaned the aircon vent, which collects a lot of dust. I asked him to come and sit out in the sun. Gave him that herbal tea. There was no sun, but at least outside. Gave him herbal tea. Gave him honey with black pepper and haldi. He's not a vegan, right? And then I asked him to wear some warm clothes and sleep off. When he woke up, the cold had gone down. I didn't need to give him anything. I kept on with my things, with warm soups for lunch, light dinner. Again, a lot of protests. Why must I have this? But I continued with it. A part of being a mother, especially to teenagers, is to turn partially deaf. So I continued doing that. And on the second day rather, he was all out of the cold. I had not used a single remedy. Now, how did that happen? That's because this is how I have brought my kids up. Just because I'm a homeopath, I don't pump them with remedies, but yes, when they need. Like my daughter complained of scratching, I had a look and I immediately started her on the medicine. So sometimes it is good to have a homeopath or a Ayurveda doctor or a TCM doctor on board who will tell you if you need to start on a remedy very quickly or just manage with herbs. Why? There are some good pediatricians who also tell you no need for medicine. But the funny part is people like to go away from those pediatricians. Why? Because that pediatrician never says give any medicine. Well, she's wise and therefore she says that pumping medicines is not the best thing. But homeopathy is not medicines. It's a remedy which is coming from nature. Ayurveda are not medicine. They are herbs coming from India. TCM is not medicine. It is herbs coming from China. So they come from nature. They are not chemicals. They help enhance the immunity of your body. Now, before we go, I have a fun question for you. I come from a bark and I treat a barking cough. Who am I? I'm going to repeat my question again. Please send me the answers in the comment. As we go forward, I'm going to give you more clues of how to improve your health. One more clue, it is in your spice box. I come from a bark. I treat barking cough. I'll give you the remedy next time of how to use it. Who am I? Please name this bark in the comments of this Facebook Live. Honestly, dear friends, whatever topic it is that you want me to talk about, do put it down in the comment. I really believe in empowering through knowledge. Those of you who are my patients know that I teach you so many things that sometimes I jokingly say that if you have been my patient for a long time, at some time you can actually sit in my chair and manage patients. I tell you the names of the medicines, I tell you how to use them. When most homeopaths don't tell the name of the medicine, I still don't understand why. It's your health. I want you to take it in your hands. So on that point, dear friends, have fun brewing healthy herbal teas, making great soups, and being in tune with your body through homeopathy and herbs. Thank you.